Good morning all. So in our last class what we have seen is uniqueness theorem, proof of uniqueness theorem with respect to the boundary conditions, right? So boundary conditions for dielectric material to dielectric material we have seen. Two mediums are considered as two dielectric materials, right? So we have seen all those things in our previous sessions. Now in this particular session, let us go to the applications of Laplace equation. In other words, we can say that some example solutions to the Laplace equations. Okay, so that is finding solutions for potential V, electric field intensity E, and capacitance with respect to three different coordinate systems. What are those three different coordinate systems we have seen? One is Cartesian coordinate system, cylindrical coordinate system, and spherical coordinate system. With respect to all the three different coordinate systems, we need to find the solutions for what is that? V and E as well as capacitance. Okay. Now the first thing which we are going to do is, the first example is with respect to two parallel planes. Example, solutions for Laplace equation. Laplace equation. This is the heading. The first one is two parallel planes. We need to consider with respect to two parallel planes. Now let me write the geometry of this. Let us consider three-axis system. This is this is Y, this is X, and this is Z. Okay. So the planes are considered in this fashion. Okay, the planes are parallel to each other. So this is N, this is M, this is V2, and this is V1. The potential at plane M is V1, the potential on plane N is V2. So these two planes are separated by distance D. Okay. The plane M is at Z is equal to 0. The plane N is at Z is equal to D. Keep that in your mind. Okay. The plane M is at Z is equal to 0. Plane N is at Z is equal to D, because these two planes are separated by a distance D. These two planes are infinitesimally larger planes. Okay, the potential on these two planes are V1 and V2 respectively. This is the arrangement we have considered. Okay, since these things are represented in Cartesian coordinate system, it is a Cartesian coordinate system problem. Okay, this is a Cartesian coordinate system problem. We need to find the solution for V and E. Okay, so for that we need to write the Laplace equation in terms of Cartesian coordinate system. So in our previous class we have written three different equations for each of the coordinate system, that is dou by dou plus I plus so this is the equation which we have written. Now look at this geometry. Since the potential is varying only along z direction, then potential remains constant for x and y coordinates. Potential remains constant, V remains constant for x and y plane. It varies only along z direction. That means these two components becomes 0. We left with only dou square V by dou z square. It is equal to 0. Okay, this is the equation we are going to get. What is the solution for this? The solution for the differential equation, solution for the differential equation is V is equal to AZ plus B, where A and B are constants. We need to find A and B. So this is the agenda. So how to find A and B? To find A and B, to find constants A and B, apply boundary conditions. Boundary conditions. What are those boundary conditions? Let me see here. Let us look at this geometry. So at z is equal to 0, V is equal to V1. First condition is at z is equal to 0, V is equal to V1. Therefore V1 is equal to B. That's it. Apply these two things into the above solution for differential equation solution. What is that? At z is equal to 0, A into 0, 0, V becomes V1. The B remains same. Okay. Keep this as equation 2. Name this as equation 1. Okay. Now apply second boundary condition. What is that second boundary condition? At z is equal to D. At z is equal to D, V equals V2. Right? At z is equal to D, V becomes V2. Then equation 1 can be rewritten as V2 is equal to A into D plus B. Name this as equation 3. Okay. Name this as equation 3. Then this can be solved as V2 is equal to A into D plus V1, because B is equal to V1. Then if we try to solve this, A is equal to V2 minus V1 divided by D. Name this as equation 4. Okay. A can be written as V2 minus V1 divided by D. Name this as equation 4. Now substitute. So this is the agenda. Now we have found out A and B constants. Okay. Now substitute equations 2 and 4 in equation 1, which results in V is equal to, what is A? V2 minus V1 by D into Z plus V1. This is the equation we have got. V is equal to A into Z plus B. What is A? A is V2 minus V1 by D into Z plus. So this is the final equation for V. Now the next agenda is calculation of E. What is E? E is equal to minus gradient into V. What is this gradient? Gradient E can be represented as dou by dou x plus dou by dou y plus dou by dou z into, if we represent this in terms of vector, then we will get a cap x, a cap y into a cap z. This is the thing. We know that x and y components are 0 because v varies only along with z direction. Then E is equal to minus dou by dou z of v into a cap z. So dou v can be written as v2 minus v1. Okay, dz dou z is equivalent to d. Therefore E becomes minus of v2 minus v1 by d into a cap z. This much. Okay, E is equal to v2 minus v1 by az. In other words, E can be written as v1 minus v2 by d into a cap z. So this can also be written in this format. Clear? Now this is the agenda we have seen at the starting point of this derivation. So we need to find out V and E by using the solution for differential equation, and by using boundary conditions we have found out the mathematical model for V, that is potential and electric field intensity, E for two infinitesimally large planes which are parallel to each other and separated by a distance d using Cartesian coordinate system. Got it? Okay, let us consider the second case, two concentric cylinders of infinite length. In other words, we can call it as coaxial cables. Coaxial cables. So this is the second application of Laplace equation. Now let us describe this geometry which we have considered. So let us consider three-axis system, x, y and z axis. So the two concentric cylinders have been considered here. The first inner one is M and outer one is N. Outer cylinder is connected to ground, which is grounded. Hence the potential at the outer cylinder N is equal to 0. So the inner cylinder is at a radial distance r1 from the z axis. The outer cylinder is at the radial distance of r2 from the z axis. Okay, the potential at the inner cylinder is considered as V0. The potential at the outer cylinder is considered to be 0. The potential outside this outer cylinder is 0. The potential, the charges are absent within this inner cylinder M, where only field is present. That's why the Laplace equation holds good here. Laplacian space have been created here, since the charges are absent inside the inner cylinder, but it has only the field. Now coming to the variation of potential V, potential varies only along the radial direction R. Potential varies along R component only. Potential remains constant with respect to Z as well as phi. Potential V remains constant with respect to azimuth angle phi and Z distance. It varies only along R parameter. Hence, these two components in the cylindrical coordinate system becomes 0. Hence, the Laplace equation gradient square V is equal to only this much. Okay, let me consider that part. Now the resultant equation is 1 by R dou by dou R times of R into dou V by dou R is equal to 0. In other words, we can write dou by dou R into dou V by dou R is equal to 0. If we cross multiply R into RHS, then it becomes 0. Okay. On integrating the above equation becomes R into dV by dr is equal to A. R into dV by dr is equal to A. Now rearrange this equation for dV. dV is equal to A into dr divided by R. A into dr See, A into dr divided by r. This is the equation. Integrate on both sides. Integrate on both sides. What we are going to get? V is equal to A into integration of dr by r. This is the resultant which we are going to get. Then it results in V is equal to A into, what is this? Integration of 1 by r, natural log of r plus b. Name this as equation 1. This is the solution for the differential equation. So V is equal to A into natural log of r plus b, where A and b are constants. What is the agenda? Like our previous case, we need to calculate A and B by using boundary conditions, by applying boundary conditions. What is that first boundary condition? The first boundary condition is, so V is equal to V naught at r is equal to r1. V is equal to V naught at r is equal to r1. Then above equation becomes V naught is equal to A into natural log of r1 plus b. Name this as equation 2. Second boundary condition says V is equal to 0 at r is equal to r2. Why V is equal to 0? Since second cylinder, outer cylinder is earthed or grounded, potential at that point is 0, hence which is considered. Then equation 1 becomes 0 is equal to A into natural log of r2 plus b. Then b is equal to minus A natural log of r2. Name this as equation 3. Okay, name this as equation 3. So what we are going to get? Substitute b in 2. Substitute equation 3 in equation 2. Then V naught is equal to A natural log of r1 minus A natural log of r2. Then V naught is equal to, let us take A common, natural log of r1 minus r2 means natural log of r1 by r2. This is the thing. So A is equal to V naught divided by natural log of r1 by r2. That's it. Name this as equation 4. Substitute equation 3 and 4 in equation 1. Substitute equation 3 and equation 4. So the resultant is V is equal to A into natural log of r plus b. What is b? B is minus A natural log of r2. So V is equal to A into natural log of r by r2, right? So what is A? V is equal to, A value is this one, V naught by natural log of r1 by r2. Here natural log of r by r2. Since this condition, r is less than r2 and r is greater than r1, this ratio r by r2 and r1 by r2 leads to negative quantities. In order to avoid this, we can invert the ratio, like natural log of r2 by r whole divided by natural log of r2 by r1. This is the final equation for potential V. Okay, coming to the electric field intensity E. What is that? E is equal to minus gradient into V. E is equal to minus dV by dr into A cap r. Now rewrite this, minus d by dr of V. What is V? V naught natural log of R2 by R divided by natural log of R2 by R1 into A cap R. Since we are differentiating this with respect to R, take the constants outside. Minus V naught divided by natural log of R2 by R1 have been taken outside. D by dr of natural log of R2 by R have been considered into A cap R. Then E can be written as minus V naught divided by natural log of R2 by R1 into, if we split this, let me write here, natural log of R2 by R, what we are going to get? Natural log of R2 minus natural log of R. So differentiation of this, let me write here, natural log of R2 by R is equal to ln of R2 minus ln of R, right? This is the thing. So if we split that, the first differentiation of this is 0, differentiation of this is minus 1 by R, 0 minus 1 by R into A cap R. This is the resultant. Now what we are going to get? E is equal to minus into minus plus V naught divided by R times of natural log of R2 by R1, right? This is the equation for electric field intensity E. Got it? Let me write the equation for capacitance. Capacitance. What is that? C is equal to Q by V. Now let me write the equation for cylindrical coordinate system. E is equal to, what is that? Rho L divided by 2 pi epsilon into R. By Gauss law, E is equal to rho L divided by 2 pi epsilon into R into A cap R. Now compare these two equations. Since LHS is equal, RHS can also be equated. That is V naught into A cap R divided by R into natural log of R2 by R1 is equal to rho L into A cap R divided by 2 pi epsilon into R. R gets cancelled, A cap R gets cancelled. V naught can be written as rho L into natural log of R2 by R1 divided by 2 pi epsilon, right? Rho L can be written as charge by unit length. Okay, then V naught is Q by L times of natural log of R2 by R1 whole divided by 2 pi epsilon. Then we know that C is equal to Q by V naught. This can be written as C is equal to 2 pi epsilon natural log of R2 by R1. 2 pi epsilon divided by natural log of R2 by R1. This is the expression for capacitance C. Substituting rho L is equal to Q by L into this equation, we'll get Q by L is equal to natural log of R2 by R1 whole divided by 2 pi epsilon. On solving this can be written like this. Then C by L, capacitance per unit length, can be written as 2 pi epsilon divided by natural log of R2 by R1. This is the final equation. Capacitance per unit length can be represented in this fashion. The capacitance equation is this one. Okay. Now let us move on to our third application, with respect to spherical coordinate system, that is two concentric spheres. We need to apply the Laplace equations and boundary conditions to find potential V, electric field intensity E and capacitance with respect to spherical coordinate system. Now let us choose two concentric spheres M and N. So the sphere, inner sphere M is of radius R1, the outer sphere is of radius R2. The inner sphere is having the potential V0, the outer sphere is having the potential of V is equal to 0 because it has been grounded, it has been earthed. Okay. Now the radius R2 is greater than R1. By looking at this geometry, we can easily make out that R2 is greater than R1. Then R, the radial distance R of the spherical coordinate system is in between R1 and R2. Hence, this is the condition. R varies from R2 to R1. Okay. So in spherical coordinate system, the Laplace equation is represented in this form. In the previous case also, the potential V varies along the radial distance. Here also the potential V varies only along the radial distance R, then which is constant for theta and phi, which is potential is constant with respect to theta and phi. With respect to angle, it is constant, which varies only with respect to the radial distance R. Hence it can be written as 1 by R square dou by dou R into R square dou V by dou R is equal to 0. If we rewrite this equation, dou by dou R into R square dou V by dou R is equal to 0. If we cross multiply that, we will get 0. On integrating, what this equation becomes? R square into dV by dr is equal to A. Right? Now dV is equal to A into dr divided by R square. dV is equal to A into dr divided by R square. This is what we are going to get. Again, integrate both sides. Integrate on both sides. What we are going to get is V is equal to minus 1 by R times of A plus B. Name this as equation 1. So V is equal to minus A by R plus B. Name this as equation 1, where A and B are constants. So we need to find A and B by applying boundary conditions. What is that first boundary condition? First boundary condition says V is equal to V0 at R is equal to R1. Then V0 is equal to A divided by R1 plus B. Name this as equation 2. Second boundary condition says V is equal to 0 at R is equal to R2. Right? Then 0 is equal to minus A by R2 plus B. Then B is equal to A by R2. Then B is equal to A by R2. Name this as equation 3. Okay. Now substitute this B into the above equation. What we are going to get? V0 is equal to minus A by R1 plus A by R2. B is equal to A by R2, right? Then V0 is equal to take it common, 1 by R2 minus 1 by R1. Then A is equal to V0 divided by 1 by R2 minus 1 by R1. name this as equation 4. Substitute equation 3 and 4 into the above equation 1, then what we are going to get? Minus 1 by r minus a by r plus what is b? b is a by r2. Then v is equal to a by r2 minus a by r. v is equal to a times of 1 by r2 minus 1 by r. Then v is equal to, what is a? v naught into 1 by r2 minus 1 by r whole divided by 1 by r2 minus 1 by r1. Since r varies between r2 to r1, then we can interchange the ratios by rearrange this equation. v is equal to v naught into 1 by r minus 1 by r2 whole divided by 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. This is the final equation for v. Okay. Now, what is the next thing? The next thing is calculation of E. E is equal to minus gradient into V. Also E is equal to minus dV by dr into a cap r. Right? So we have got the equation for V. Then E is equal to minus d by dr of V. What is V? V naught times of 1 by r minus 1 by r2 whole divided by 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2 into a cap r. Right? So this is what we are going to get. So since we are differentiating with respect to r, keep the r term inside this, then rest of the constants take it outside. E is equal to minus v naught divided by 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2 into d by dr of 1 by r minus 1 by r2, right, into a cap r. What is the differentiation of 1 by r? Minus 1 by r square. This one is 0. Then E is equal to minus v naught divided by 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2 into minus 1 by r square. So E can be written as E is equal to v naught divided by r square times of 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. This is the final expression for electric field intensity E into a cap r. We know that from Gauss law application, E can be written as Q divided by 4 pi epsilon into r square. Right? From Gauss law application, E is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon into r square. Since LHS is same, equate RHS. Then what we are going to get? V naught divided by r square into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2 is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon into r square. R square gets cancelled. We know that C is equal to Q by V naught. Q by V naught is equal, therefore capacitance C is equal to Q by V naught is equal to 4 pi epsilon divided by 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. This is the final equation for capacitance C with respect to spherical coordinate system. Okay, understood? In all the three different cases, by considering Cartesian coordinate system, cylindrical coordinate system and spherical coordinate system, we have followed same set of procedure to calculate V, E and capacitance, right? So let me recall what we have studied in this particular session. What is that? First case, by using Cartesian coordinate system, we have solved the Laplace equation for V and E, right? So what is the procedure which we have followed? The first thing is we need to identify the potential which is varying along only one coordinate points, right? Then rest of the two coordinate points for which the potential remains constant, right? So we need to identify that and we need to substitute into the differential equation. We need to find the solution for differential equation by finding out the constants A and B by applying boundary conditions. By applying suitable boundary conditions, we need to calculate the unknown constants A and B. After solving the solution for differential equation, we are going to get the potential V. Then by using the gradient equation, E is equal to minus a gradient into V, we can solve it for electric field intensity E. Okay. By comparing the application of Gauss law with respect to the application of Laplace equation, by equating it for E, we can easily solve it for the capacitance C. This is the procedure which we have followed in all the three different cases, right? So only the difference is by applying different coordinate system equations for Laplacian field. That's it. I hope you understood all the three applications of Laplace equation. In our further classes, we can solve some more applications and the numerical problems. Okay? Thank you.